In the real world, scales can be found on animals such as fish, lizards, and crocodiles, but in fantasy, you can draw scales on whatever sorts of creatures or characters you can think up. It's a great way to add detail and texture, and although it can seem intimidating and confusing to add so much detail in this way, it may be more manageable than you realize, and quite fun. Before you get started, it's really important to remember that, like I said, scales exist in reality. They aren't just something made up for drawing dragons, and so you can find really great reference images. Even if you want to make an illustration of a dragon and not a real animal, you can pick a real animal to base it on. For example, you can give your dragon scales like an iguana has. This is a good way to give your fantasy creatures more unique flair. Looking at these references, there's a lot of interesting things to note, such as how the scales on an animal don't tend to be consistent in size. In some places they are very small, and in others they are big. They can also have a lot of interesting color variation, changing color gradually and creating a sort of gradient. With these ideas in mind, let's add scales to this creature. Obviously, this thing has form to it, so laying on a flat pattern isn't going to cut it. This isn't a necessary step, but it becomes much easier to draw the scales following the form if you first draw in some guidelines on a layer underneath. A sort of grid that makes the 3D shape of the creature much clearer. This will also help with knowing what direction the scales should go in. Not too much unlike how you might think about the direction of fur. Try practicing with a simple sphere first. I find it's best to start at a focal point or a closer part of the subject. In this area, they can be drawn neatly and clearly, and possibly with thicker or darker gaps between scales. As you work your way towards the edges of the shape, draw the scales like you would see from a steeper angle, no longer straight on. Also gradually make them looser, less precise. Now you're implying the detail instead of fully drawing it. There are several reasons for doing this, which may make more sense shown on a creature example. As you can imagine and have maybe experienced, trying to draw each and every individual scale is very time-consuming and tedious. It won't get you the best results either, since especially in the case of painting, putting all of these details in every part of a subject makes it look overwhelmingly chaotic. Keeping the most details in just focal points brings attention to those areas. In case you're a bit confused about where these focal points on a creature or character should be, start with the head, which is always going to be a focal point, and usually the most focal of points. From there, it really depends on your subject, but often there will be a spot of more detail on the shoulder, and possibly more subdued focal points placed on portions of other body parts, like the tail, if whatever this thing is has one. You can also, following the detail in either light or shadow rule, draw or paint scales in either areas in light or in shadow, and then elsewhere imply them much more softly and subtly. Another case for lack of detail is sometimes scales are just too small. An example would be an iguana. The scales on its head are a reasonable size to draw, but on its body they are incredibly small, so best recreated as roughly drawn or painted in texture. The pattern will vary depending on what animal you're using for reference. One option is to think of them like bricks, where you have rows that are offset from each other. Columns that are offset from each other also work, and are often what you'll see for these diamond or triangle-shaped scales. Then, sometimes there isn't really any distinct pattern, and you can just draw semi-angular shapes packed together randomly. Most of these examples have been drawings, so let's talk about taking the approach of painting scales. Instead of starting with the most detail and working your way down, you may want to try the reverse for painting, starting with very subtle implied detail and then working up. The base skin should probably be a bit darker than you plan the final result to look, since you'll generally want to use a slightly lighter value for most of the scales. It will help to set this scale layer to a blending mode like soft light or overlay, so that this texture seems to follow the form and isn't just a flat color throughout. Doing this in layers will be helpful not just for that, but also for making adjustments and final touches. Now that I have a rough texture, I'll create a new layer for my more crisp details. Using a temporary standout color will allow you to see what you're doing more clearly. Then you can either alpha lock this layer or create a clipping mask, whatever will let you paint just inside of these scales and not outside of them. Then you can mess with different colors, gradients, and textures. Maybe add some more brightness to the scales in certain areas that would be catching a lot of light to make them feel shiny. Or mix things up and choose some to be darker than the base skin instead of lighter. Finally, on one more new layer layer, use a thinner, darker brush to add in crevices and dark edges to the scales and focal point areas, making them really pop. Of course, this isn't the one right process for this, so have some fun experimenting with this yourself. That's all I have for this video, so if you'd like to see more, here's one on painting with edges where I talk about some related things. Thanks for watching!